Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for a brand new Battlefront 2015 video. The first DICE Battlefront is a game we revisited on this channel a few months ago, and the response to that video was pretty incredible to see. Even though Battlefront 2015 wasn't perfect, it was a game that I have a lot of fond memories with and enjoyed quite a lot for what it was. And reading through the 5,000 plus comments and seeing how many others felt similarly was pretty neat to see. With that said, my original video didn't put too much focus on any of the standalone DLCs. We spent maybe 1 to 2 minutes on each expansion, which was fine for what that video was trying to accomplish, but even then I knew I could easily make an entire video just revisiting each of the DLCs individually, because each of the 4 major Battlefront 2015 expansions added a ton of content. Well, now that we're in February of 2020, and DICE has confirmed that Scarif will be returning in a future Battlefront 2 update, I figured there was no better time to revisit Battlefront 2015's Rogue One Scarif DLC, and I went all in to put this video together. I even got my hands on a PSVR just so I could experience the Battlefront Rogue One VR mission, which I never had the chance to play back when it was new. I tried my best to find lobbies of Scarif to provide modern day gameplay, which was challenging for sure, as the DLC playlists are pretty scarce on players, but between myself and a friend on a different platform, I was able to gather a bunch of recent gameplay of the Scarif content. Today we'll be revisiting the entire Scarif DLC, the maps, the blasters, the modes, the heroes, the star cards, and even the VR mission. If you guys do like the idea of this and would want to see a standalone video from me covering each of the other 3 DLCs, so Outer Rim, Bespin, and the Death Star, let me know by leaving a like on this video, and if this one goes over well, I'll start working on those and release maybe once a week leading up to the Scarif update in Battlefront 2 next month. With that said, I do need to take a quick second to thank the sponsor for today's video, Raycon, the masterminds behind not only one of the best wireless earbuds on the market, but also one of the most affordable. And if there is one thing I have learned in the 20 years I have been on planet Earth, it is that finding a quality pair of headphones that won't break the bank is just about impossible, or so I thought, until I found out about Raycon. Raycon earbuds start at about half the price of other premium wireless earbud options on the market, yet their sound quality is just as amazing as other top audio brands, and their latest model, the E25, brings with it every feature you could ever ask for, including seamless Bluetooth pairing, 6 hours of playtime, and a charging case that will keep you listening for 4 full charges. The E25 also features a new and compact design that is excellent for noise isolation, and the earbuds can also be customized in a variety of colors. In addition to already being one of the best and most affordable options out there, you can get an additional 15% off using my special link buyraycon.com/bfnight, which you can find in the description below. Take it from me, everyone needs a pair of earbuds they can rely on, and Raycon keeps it affordable. If music is a huge part of your life as it is mine, do yourself a big favor and grab a pair. Alright, thanks once again to Raycon, and let's jump into the Rogue One Scarif DLC. Despite this being the first of the 4 expansions we're covering in a video, Scarif was the final update released, dropping on December 20th of 2016, less than a week after the release of Rogue One in theaters. The update added a variety of new maps all set on or above Scarif, a new game mode called Infiltration, 2 new heroes, 2 new weapons, a brand new star card, and more. Before we talk about Infiltration, which was pretty much the anchor of the entire DLC, as it utilized each of the Scarif maps throughout its various phases, I want to talk about Nien and Krennic, who were the 2 heroes added alongside Scarif, and obviously could be used on any map, and were the highlight of the entire DLC for me. Krennic in particular became my favorite hero in the entire game almost instantly. He was equipped with the DT-29 blaster pistol, a fast-firing high-damage pistol that required a manual reload, something that was oddly satisfying. His abilities included Armor Breaker, an alternate firing mode that allowed him to fire off single shots of extremely high damage that would home onto enemies, and one-shot most everyone from any range. He was also equipped with the C2B5 Astromech, a droid that shielded Krennic while also damaging and revealing nearby enemies. Finally, Wrath of the Empire allowed Krennic to buff both himself and all nearby teammates with health and damage reduction. If that weren't enough, choosing Krennic allowed 2 teammates to spawn in as Death Trooper bodyguards as additional protection. As much as I'm praising Krennic, his light side counterpart Jyn was no joke either. Jyn was unique in that much of her playstyle revolved all around her blaster, the reconfigurable A180. By default, the A180 starts out as a pistol, good at pretty medium to long ranges, but just okay up close. However, Jin could reconfigure her pistol into a rifle which had one of, if not the single highest close range damage output in all of Battlefront 2015. And to be honest, I would find myself rocking the rifle 90% of the time, as it was just that good. With that said, because Jin's pistol was good for medium to long range engagements, and her rifle was so great up close, Jin was a strong hero for just about any situation. Because her rifle configuration took up one of her ability slots, Jin only had two abilities not tied to swapping her blaster back and forth. The first was her Truncheon Surge, a melee ability that could hold up to 9 charges at a time, and would take care of infantry in one shot. Her final ability was the Sonic Imploder, which damage blinded and reduced the armor of enemies within its radius. I would say of the two, Krennic was probably the stronger hero by a fair margin, but if I remember correctly, they ended up nerfing Krennic's damage output and increasing Jin's in the January update following the Scarif DLC, but even without those changes, both were very strong from launch. Alternate variants of both of the hero weapons were also made available to troopers, which is something I'd like to see in Battlefront 2, but that's beside the point, maybe a topic for another day. The trooper variant of the DT-29 functioned almost identically to Krennic's, just with lower damage and a more drastic damage drop-off. The DT-29 was unlocked for troopers after purchasing the Krennic's Offense HUT contract and completing each of the 3 requirements, which were pretty easy. I remember doing this challenge. All you had to do was kill 25 enemies with Krennic, use the personal shield star card 20 times, and then get 25 more kills with any infantry blaster pistol. The infantry variant of Jin's blaster was much more unique, as it functioned in a very different way from Jin's version of the A180. The infantry variant of the A180 had not just 2 alternate configurations, but 4. Along with the pistol and rifle mode, the infantry A180 could also be reconfigured into a sniper rifle that was capable of one-shots, and an ion mode that dealt heavy damage to vehicles and turrets. The 4 configurations made the infantry A180 the most versatile weapon in Battlefront 2015, but it came with a huge trade-off, as those configurations replaced all of your star cards, your entire hand, so anyone rocking the A180 had to deal with no back-to-bomb, no jetpack, no personal shields, nothing. It was you, the A180, and a dream. The A180 could be unlocked via the Jin Solution HUT contract, which required 20 kills with targeting rifles, 25 kills with blaster pistols, and 30 with blaster rifles. I remember being absolutely awful with the targeting rifles in Battlefront 2015, so this contract was a huge pain for me to complete. That was just a personal thing though, as I never used targeting rifles unless the game forced me to, which it did with that contract. Jin's Sonic Imploder was also available to infantry in the form of a star card, although the infantry Sonic Imploder was nowhere near the power level of Jin's. To unlock the Sonic Imploder in its most powerful infantry form, you would have to complete 2 HUT contracts and were required to use the flash grenade on 20 players, score 15 kills with impact grenades, get 30 kills with Jin, and finally get 5 kills with the standard Sonic Imploder before unlocking the upgraded one. The infantry Sonic Imploder was extremely weak when the Rogue One DLC dropped. I even dug up the patch notes because I thought I remembered DICE buffing the heck out of it the following update, and they definitely did, as they doubled the blast radius as well as increased the damage. It's pretty good now, but the original blast radius before the buff was pathetic. Alright, it's time to talk about the new game mode introduced with the Scarif update, Infiltration, which was the part of the DLC that brought everything together under one 3-phase experience. The first phase of Infiltration took place above Scarif near the shield gate, and your objective was to either stop the rebels from getting through altogether, or to get through it yourself as a rebel. The U-Wings are fully playable and were a new addition to Scarif. If the rebels succeed in breaching the shield gate, the mode moves on to Phase 2, which puts you down on the land of Scarif itself, and the rebel objective is to plant explosives on an Imperial cargo ship and blow that thing sky high. If successful, you move on to the third and final phase, where the rebels have to steal data tapes, carry them successfully to the waiting U-Wings, and if the rebels aren't stopped by the shore troopers, they fly away in the U-Wings and the game ends. Something I really loved about the third phase was that if you looked in the sky as the timer ticked down, you could actually watch the Death Star move into position. Infiltration was also unique in that you could only play as Jin and Krennic. If you got a hero pickup, you would just instantly spawn in as one or the other depending on what side you were on. You didn't really have any choice in the matter. As I said though, Infiltration was the game mode that utilized each of the small maps throughout the various phases and dropped you directly into Rogue One. The mode also included a new power-up for the Imperials called the TIE Striker, which when picked up would send a TIE Striker through a handful of strafe runs. You couldn't control it whatsoever, you can't even place it down where you want it, and from the few times I actually used the power-up, as it was quite rare, it often didn't do much as you just kinda had to get lucky and hope the enemies were in the wrong place at the wrong time. The rebels also had a power-up that allowed them to control the U-Wing gunner seat and fire down on the enemies. The U-Wing gunner actually makes a return during the third phase of Yavin 4 in Battlefront 2, something I don't think a lot of people realize as it's just one very short phase of one map. The various Scarif maps were also available in other game modes in the DLC playlist, including Fighter Assault, Turning Point, Blast, and of course Walker Assault, and to be honest, Scarif Walker Assault was even better than Infiltration in my opinion, as all of the heroes were available, which gave things a little more variety. The Scarif DLC was also complemented with the Rogue One X-Wing VR mission, which released in early December 2016, and unlike the main DLC, was completely free, but was only available for the PlayStation VR headset. For whatever reason, it was never released for any other headset. If I was going to make a video, I wanted to include the VR mission as it goes hand in hand with the main Scarif DLC, so I ended up borrowing a PSVR headset from a friend of mine, and was able to experience the full mission a couple of times. I will say, despite being very short, just over 15 minutes for the whole thing, the mission did not disappoint, especially for 4-year-old VR. It was very cool jumping inside an X-Wing in VR as a new Rebel pilot recruit. Your task is to escort K2SO and Jyn Erso to Yavin 4 and have to fend off an X-Wing attack on the way there. For what it is, it was very well done, and seeing as the mission doesn't cost anything if you already have the headset, I would definitely recommend it if you already have access to a PSVR. It's definitely not something worth buying a PSVR for, but if you already own one or have other things on PSVR you want to play, it's worth a download for a couple of playthroughs, and there's even some objectives that require you to play several times to complete, so if you're a completionist, you'll probably get a couple of hours of playtime out of it. Well guys, we have covered everything the Battlefront 2015 Rogue One Scarif DLC had to offer, and I hope you enjoyed revisiting everything like I did. If you did enjoy this video and would like to see others covering the various other DLCs, let me know by leaving a like, and if there is a specific expansion you would like to see me cover first, let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks once again to Raycon for sponsoring today's upload. Seriously guys, if you need a pair of reliable and quality headphones that aren't going to cost you well over $100, consider picking up a pair and use my discount code to get yourself an even better deal. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.